I've never been a guy that was like just an animal. I've never been like super strong. I mean, in high school, this is going to sound good, but on squat days, I would just set up the bench bar and I just rep bench out. I was kind of one of those guys. Squat was never my thing, so my legs are an important part of baseball, but I never really was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be something that I need. Right. I was just kind of a big upper body, wanted to walk around like I was some huge big guy.
Wanted on the record, Keaton skipped leg day.
Yep, I did.
Yo, Kono with the rebound, they got 8 seconds to go. Move the ball right up the court, yeah, you know they ready to roll. Hit the outlet pass to Patrick, put a move on them so tragic. Yeah, you don't want no static, McCaffrey boys, they be like magic. This shit back to Connor, yeah, you know these boys is hooping. Hit him with the alley, yeah, you know he straight up hooped it. Now Patrick's hanging on the rim, yeah, he's got his feet up. Excessive celebration, McCaffrey boys, they done got teed up. Oh man, they got teed up.
And now a message from our friends at Vibrant, encouraging you to trust no one, not even your brother, with your personal information. For instance, did you know that when your caller ID says it's your credit union calling, it isn't necessarily your credit union?
Okay, but did you know that if a caller texts you a verification code and asks you to read it back to them, they're trying to break into your account?
Okay, but did you know you should never tell someone your credit card number to verify your identity?
Okay, but did you know I know your Netflix password is Cyclone Suck? Only the letter E is a number 3?
So that's why it always asks if I want to keep watching Gilmore Girls when I log in.
Find out how to protect your valuable personal information at vibrantcreditunion.org/fraud. The Summit Bar and Grill has the best DJs in Iowa City. They routinely bring in DJs from all over the U.S. and Europe, and we have one of their very own working with us here at the pod.
Shout out Marcos.
Shout out, and he's the man. He's the man. This is definitely the place to be after a big win. Definitely going to catch some of us there. Summit, they also just dropped a new food menu. They serve food Tuesday through Saturday starting at noon. The homemade fried chicken sandwich is out of this world. But again, just want to emphasize, it is a great place to go after big wins, and mainly to do with the DJ, Marcos, our guy here, but also a lot to do with our guy Brad. He takes care of us, so shout out to him. Thank you to him. Welcome into episode 21 of Teed Up. That was really loud.
That was loud. I
Teed Up with Connor and Patrick. We got a very special guest here today. We got Keaton Anthony. For those of you who don't know, stand out on the baseball squad this year. One of my teammates for a couple years. This
home run king.
This guy can flat out hit. This guy flat out hits, and he's going to be a big time draft prospect in this upcoming draft. And we're very happy to have him on. He's going to be in big leagues in a couple of years. What's up, brother? How are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys very much for having me.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Episode 21.
Episode 22. All right. Well, so for those of you who don't know, Keaton is from Georgia, and
hold on, can I ask this question?
Yeah.
How the hell did you end up here?
Yeah, the Georgia Iowa pipeline for baseball.
Yeah, it's not a common route for not anybody, I don't think.
No, I've never
heard of anybody from Georgia up here other than on the baseball team. But so my parents, I was originally born in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
Moved to Georgia when I was like 1, so don't really have like any track record up here.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents both went to Indiana University.
So you're a Midwest guy.
Yeah,
Midwest
guy.
fan.
Been around the Big Ten a lot. My parents love Indiana basketball. I mean, we don't need to talk about that, but
we can talk. We're
going to talk about it. But go ahead.
Big fan of Indiana basketball, Indiana
Sucks
sports.
To be them.
Yeah. But when I was getting recruited out of high school, I kind of wanted to come back up in the Midwest. So I went on like a tour of visits through Missouri to Iowa to Indiana and then back home. So it was kind of like a big circle. And then, like when I came here, just everything was all put together. It was just like, love the coaching staff, great environment, great football game I was able to go to. And it just kind of felt like home in the Midwest. So that's where I am now.
What was like your top 5 per se? Did you have one or like a top 3?
Yeah, it would probably be like a top 3. It was like after I did all my visits and everything, it was here. Went on a visit to Indiana too, so Indiana was up there. And then probably Georgia Southern. They hosted a regional this year.
Yeah.
Pretty good club.
No, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I mean, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, which I think a lot of you will, but the baseball in the South is just different.
Yeah.
Like it's like a different lifestyle, like different schools. It's just different than basketball. It's like schools that you might not have heard of are going to be really, really good because of the weather down there, the players, you can play year round, pitchers throwing, whatever. So I guess like when you come up here, it's cold.
Yes,
like it's cold.
It's freezing.
It's cold.
My first winter was brutal. There was so much snow, and I literally had no idea what to do.
Explain to people who've never played baseball how horrible it is to hit when you can't feel your hands.
I mean, it's something that you really can't even describe. It's like you're almost scared to swing the bat because you are worried that if you hit one off the end or if you get one off the hands, you get jammed, and it's just gonna sting forever.
Dude.
And it's gonna be the pain's just gonna be outrageous. You're not gonna want to swing the rest of the day.
No.
It's a huge difference. Like playing in the heat, I always would say like I'd rather be cold than hot because you can get warm. And that's like a bit like if you're like cold, like you can put on more layers.
You could always add more layers, but it's to a point where like you can't take anything else off.
Yeah.
Right.
And then if you're hot, then you're kind of just like sitting there. I mean, you got like fans and stuff, but now like after this, like it's almost like I would almost just rather be hot because the cold is just brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
it's bad.
I'm with you, dude. I can't. I hate the cold.
Yeah.
The winters.
It's not fun.
That's why I play a sport that's inside.
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits of basketball. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You don't got to deal with the weather. Can we get back on this Indiana basketball fandom from his parents? Like, what's up with that, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, like, granted, they are going to be really good next year. Mm-hmm. But, like, I mean, we beat them twice this year, so that was fun.
They were big games, too.
Yeah, I know. They were huge games. I was at the one that was here.
Yeah, I know. I left you tickets.
Yeah, there was 1 million people there. It was actually super loud. It was a really good game. Chris Murray went nuts.
Yeah, he did.
I remember that game.
Are you like a diehard Indiana basketball?
Nah, so before I came
because you told me you weren't.
Yeah, before I came here, I said, okay, so I've always grown up watching their games. So, I mean, I've known all their players back to like the DJ White era, like the Jordan Holes era, all that, and all of them. But
even when they stunk, like with Crane, like
with Crane, he's at Georgia
like
now.
Those early, he just got fired
from Georgia.
He just got fired. Yeah.
Crazy story. I went to a baseball game down there, and I was walking out, and he was just looking for someone random, and he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, can you take a picture of me and my wife in front of the field?" I was like, "Tom Crane, yeah, sure."
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like I got you.
Sure enough, like is Indiana hidden Indiana basketball fan. Like both parents went to Indiana. Like out of everybody he picked at that game, it was you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It was just you.
No, like those were my first, like those like Indiana teams with like Jordan Holes, Christian Watford. Like that was like one of my first like real memories of Iowa basketball was when I went on a trip. It was the first year, like I went on a trip, like just with my dad and like the team. We played at Indiana, and like I think both teams were awful. Mm-hmm. But like it was still sold out. I think we were second to last, and they were last. It was literally the bottom two teams.
13, 14.
Like we had like Gayton, Jared Cole, like all those guys, and then they had like Jordan Holes, Christian Watford, and like, but like, bro, you couldn't have told those people in the stands that it wasn't Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Yeah, and those were the two bottom teams, and we won. And like that's when I was like, yeah, like I want to play in the Big Ten. Like this is cool.
Yes, environments are nuts.
It's just different at IU, and it just in Indiana as a whole.
Yeah. So if you can, like, we talk about atmospheres, talking about environments, like explain like the difference in playing in the South versus playing in the Big Ten, because and the reason I bring that up is I want to talk about the stigma that is Big Ten teams not being good enough to make the tournament, right? Like not the disrespect that we get. So like I know Southern baseball is different, but if you can speak to the talent level that is in the Big Ten, and we only got 2 teams in, and those 2 teams were Michigan was an inning away from making a super regional, and Maryland had UConn. It was down to the last game, and they had a shot as well. With that, it was that crazy base running call that the umpire made. That type of thing. So I guess there is still a lot of talent in the Big Ten. Like for us this year, you talk about yourself. Adam Mazur is going to be a top pick. Mm-hmm. Peyton Williams is going to be another big time pick. Mm-hmm. Isaiah, we all know he can hit.
Yep. Big J, yes sir. Shout out Zay.
Shout out Zay. He's going to be on at some point. But so I guess if you can explain a little bit about how serious baseball in the South is, but also like
like we're not far behind, and we deserve better because our team this year, like we could have beaten a lot of teams that were in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. For me, just being down in the South, it's like constant throughout the whole year. You're playing, you're doing stuff outside. There's never a time that it's like too cold to go outside, and like for here, there's snow on the field, so we're inside for 3 months, 2 months, starting in January until when we play. People kind of like look at that as like a downfall. I would say like teams are thinking like, oh, they've been inside, they haven't been on a field. Like they haven't been like built up to what we've been built up to in the South. We've been on the field for the past 2 months. But I mean, for me personally, I feel like when we do stuff inside, I feel like not only does it like obviously it's good to get all the stuff in and the reps, but like I feel like it kind of benefits a little bit in a way because you've hit inside.
It's harder
in the winter. Yeah,
it's harder to hit
it's
inside.
It's a lot harder to see.
Yeah.
So when you go out on the field, it translates. It's like, I mean, everything just looks like so much bigger. Like
brighter.
You just have
Brighter.
It just looks it's easier to see everything. But I mean, obviously, like I've grown up down there. I mean, my junior year, I was a two-way player of the year for my county. I was in like the biggest county in Georgia. Pitching and hitting, I had a really good year. I mean, it was like, I'm not saying like I'm a bad player, I'm like amazing, but I'm just saying like I don't think that the talent down there is much different than what it is up here.
Like anybody can beat anybody, basically.
Yes. Like we played Texas A&M. Granted, it was kind of at the beginning of the year. I mean, we only lost by 3 to them. They ended up being a World Series team.
Yeah.
Good club, but I mean the differential in talent for me, I mean, I don't really think it's as drastic as people think. Like, I feel like the Big Ten just gets no respect. And also, I mean, the first 4 weeks we're just flying out. Thursday, we went South Carolina, Texas, Cali in 4 weeks. So we were home for 3 days. I mean, and you basically have an off day when you get back. You have 2 days of practice.
You leave again.
Yeah, and then you leave again. And you're never here. So it's like, kind of just getting used to all the traveling and stuff. And all the Southern teams, I mean, they start all their seasons out with home games hosting Northern teams. So, for example, Georgia, I know they played like Albany this year as team up north. I mean, just like a bunch of mid-majors that they just bring down and play. And I mean, it's, you know how it is. Playing at home is just so much better than being on the road. It's like, you get to relax, you get to be in your own locker room. Doing your own thing throughout the day. And then when you're on the road, it's like hotel, sleeping, it just catches up on you after a while. Yeah. So I feel like that's something that, and I know the Michigan coach, he just went to Clemson. He was big on pushing the season back a few weeks for the Northern teams to try to get a little bit warmer up there so they can play home games earlier. Yeah. And I think personally that it's something that needs to get looked into a lot more than what it is.
Yeah. Now he's probably more like, Northern teams. Nah, you guys cut.
He's no longer an advocate for that.
He probably switched up now.
Yeah, no, I bet. But I mean, it's very much a routine thing, right? Like every athlete, football, but it doesn't matter what sport you play, football, basketball, baseball, soccer. Like the best athletes find a routine. You're a huge routine guy,
bro.
Like
my
huge
routine.
Like you're the most routine guy I know, and like you need like. Being at home and being able to like do what you want to do and have your schedule regimented and like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. You can plan it out. On the road, you can't do that as much. So like imagine you like put yourself in Keaton's shoes. Like you're leaving. I mean, by the way, like you're flying commercial.
No, that's what I was about to make that point. I was like, you guys don't travel like we travel. Like it's much different. You guys are going to fly. You guys might take where we would take just a direct charter flight or whatever. You guys might take 3 planes.
I don't think one place that we flew we had a direct flight. It was like when we went to Cali, it was like Iowa to Dallas to Cali. Yeah. And then it's just like there's just layovers and
bro, the layovers are crazy.
Yeah. And then we'll get back Sunday night at 11:30 midnight.
Yeah.
And that's like a normal 1 a.m. and it's just like the whole next day. Wake up for class.
Go to class, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys do that. But
hey, I always saw Keaton in class. I had multiple classes with Keaton. I always saw Keaton in class.
I was always there. I can't second that Pat was there every day. But
We'll get back to that. No, but really though, like in all seriousness, like it's a lot different. So for like a routine guy like yourself, and like I mean like a lot of guys in baseball, especially pitchers, probably more so than position players.
Yes.
You know, pitchers are crazy routine. So like put yourself in that. Like how would you
feel like
handle that?
Well, so like I have a routine at home, and I also have a routine when we go on the road.
Right.
So like I shower at a specific, like when we're on the road, I shower at a specific time. Like I kind of like manufacture things that like I can like are within my control that like I can do to like kind of, you know, like get your mind off the game. Like here it's easy because like here, like when we play here, like I meditate at, like we have pregame meal. I wait like 20 minutes. I meditate. I go, I shower. I change. I get my ankles taped. Get my wrists taped. Like I go and I grab the same piece of gum, like same type of gum, like every day, like every game. I go get my ankles taped. I shoot. I do the same shooting routine. Ben Sheridan, our manager, has to pass it to me. Like nobody else. I won't let anyone else pass to me. Like it has to be Ben Sheridan. So if he's sick, like we're screwed. Like I won't play. No, but like so Ben Sheridan has to pass to me, and then do I do my shooting routine? Then I just sit there and just like relax before the game starts, and then we like that's probably like 30 minutes or so. Then we start like our team routine, and then kind of go to so like on the road, like I shower at a specific time, like I put my like lay my clothes out and put them on like this like a different like a weird way, like nap, watch Criminal Minds. I always watch Criminal Minds like on the road. It's just like I just like make up things to like, especially on the road, because like you there you don't have as much control, and because you're not as comfortable, right? You don't have a lot of options, so it's like I just kind of manufacture things that I can control.
Well, it's about controlling your nerves and controlling like you it helps with focus. Like you can be locked in. You don't have to worry about outside distractions. It's the same in baseball. You know, it's the same. Like you want to be, you know, we talk about coach, like everything's a routine with coach.
Yep.
You know, like you have to have a routine, like when you step out of the box, and every time you get out of the box, you got to have a routine. Like, are you like a big time routine guy? Like, do you need to follow, or are you more of like a, you know, whatever? Like I can just go hit. Like I'm good.
No, I'm a guy that has to. I kind of have to get on a groove going, and whatever I was doing leading up to that, that's what I'll stick with. So I was at the beginning of the year, I wasn't struggling, I was doing well, but when I really started to hit well, I was doing like, I mean, you've seen my games. Like before I get in the box, I'd like be out of the box and I'd like dig into the dirt a little bit.
Yep.
People would always be like, "What are you doing?" But it's just like a thing that I just had to do before every at bat. Yeah. I probably looked like a fool doing it.
No, you didn't. It was normal. You looked like you had like a routine, like maybe a little superstition, like something worked, and like you just, I don't know, whether you're getting into your legs, whatever.
It just reminded me to just get my back hip.
Yeah, see, like there's always going to be a click. There's going to be something that triggers in your mind, like, okay, this is what I need to do, right? So, I mean, and that works for you.
No, bro, it's like every time, like, so like we come out of the court, like before the game, like after we do starting lineups, whatever, like we huddle up. After the huddle, or no, before we huddle up, I'm sorry. I walk, like when we walk out of the team huddle, because like we do the team huddle and then like the starters huddle. So like as soon as we walk out of the team huddle, my jersey's never tucked, and then I walk over and I'm like tucking it in. I'm like just kind of looking around, like just kind of embracing everything. I do that home or away, and just like take like 3 or 4 deep breaths, and then we go do the team, and then we tip it off. And it's just like those, and it doesn't sound like much, right? But it's like if I don't do that, then I just feel weird and I'm uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me and Isaiah, we'd have pregame thing. We'd all both put our eye black on the same time, like 15 minutes before a game. We'd take the same picture of each other, both put it on each other.
He'd always post that
before every game. That was our thing. We had to do it.
I think that it's a powerful point. Like I remember I've listened to certain things, like JJ Redick, his podcast. We listen to that a lot, and we reference that a lot on here. It's like he always like there's comfort in your routine, right? Because it's like if you do the same thing and it's been proven to work before, like you just feel better. Whereas like if it all goes wrong, like or like you're not in the same position, you're not as comfortable, then it just kind of blows up on you. And it might not always affect the game directly, but like it affects how you feel. Usually once we tip the ball or whatever, we feel like I'm good, but it's like it's craziness.
Yes, I could, like you were going with that, there's a million things that I'm now thinking of that I do before every game, and it's like looking back on it, so I'm not playing right now, it's like not something that I think about, but then like when I put my mind to it, I'm like, oh my God, like there's actually some crazy things like that I do before every game, and it was a year in, like the whole year, just stuck to it.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
All right, with that, we're going to take a quick break.
Hey Connor, I went into Kimball and Beecher Family Dentistry the other day for a cleaning. Was your experience as good as mine?
Yes, it definitely was. I went in immediately. They got me in. I was in and out within 30 minutes tops. It was pain free. The doctors were great. The dentists were great. I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. They told me I had great teeth and everybody was super helpful. So shout out to Kimball and Beecher Family Dentistry.
Yeah, they told me I had great teeth as well. So maybe it was just a thing.
No,
maybe they were lying.
I think I have better teeth, but anyway.
Okay. Well, it was a great experience either way. Yeah. So thank you to them, Kimball and Beecher. With the college basketball season now officially over, this is the time people turn their attention to filing taxes. People always have a lot of questions about their taxes. Maybe you're wondering if there's anything you can do to owe less taxes. Maybe you've got a little extra cash, you want to put it away for retirement, but you're not sure how. Maybe you're a student athlete with some NIL money and you want to be smart with what you have after paying taxes.
Wait, we have to pay taxes?
Everyone is looking for someone they can trust to provide answers and a game plan to help them make the right decisions with their money for today and in the future. So if you just want to know if you're on the right path or if you haven't even started down a path at all, reach out to an advisor at Lane Family Wealth Management. They offer free phone, online, and in-person consultations. Call 319-535-4525 in Eastern Iowa or 515-322-7971 anywhere else in the U.S.
All right, welcome back to our episode here with Keaton. Keaton, so for the people that don't know, you've been here for 2 years now. You came in last year, and you were hurt.
Yes.
You weren't yourself. Obviously, you were. It was a serious injury that you had, and you didn't contribute. You redshirted.
Hold on. What was it? I didn't. I knew you redshirted, but I didn't know you were hurt.
Yeah. So I kind of severely strained, tore my hamstring.
Yeah.
Got a PRP shot. Missed 9 weeks.
And you just never were you never got to yourself. So you redshirted. Mm-hmm. You obviously explain to the people what redshirting is like when you've played, and then you come in and you got a red shirt because of injury. Because it's different when you redshirt because of what might be status, playing time, whatever. But when it's injury related, it's more difficult. So especially somebody like you who could have contributed. I remember the last fall year, you were playing really well towards the end of the fall. Like when you first got here, kind of getting in the groove of things, whatever. Then you started getting things clicking, and that's when then when you came back before the seasons when you got hurt.
Yes.
So I guess talk about what that was like, the adversity you went through that year, and then is that what motivated you coming back into this year? Just that much more?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a big struggle coming 12 hours away from home.
Yeah.
I always struggled kind of being away from my parents growing up my whole life. Just wasn't an easy thing for me to do. I hated when they would go out of town or they would go for a night to go hang out with friends and they kind of left us. But I mean, that was one of my biggest issues, was just kind of getting in the groove up here. It's just, I mean, it was just a big change. It's like no car, I'm on my own. I'm in a little dorm room with a roommate. Not really very familiar with any of my teammates yet. So that was a major change for me. And then with the whole baseball side of things, I mean, once I got in the groove, I feel like I had a really good fall toward the end of the year, to the end of the fall. I feel like I was in a really good place when I went home. Put on a good bit of weight. Not saying it was all good weight, but there was definitely some bad weight put on. But yeah, there's
the brewskis.
Yeah.
Stop.
He's 22, by the way.
There was some weight that was on there, but just coming back ready for the season. I felt like I was still in a great spot. We were a week away, and just felt a big pull. Tried to play the next week, had a pinch hit at bat, started to bruise up down there, on my hamstring, and I kind of knew that something was worse, so it kind of just tore. Ended up getting I got a what's the word I'm looking for?
MRI?
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ultrasound.
Okay,
ultrasound on it.
Yeah.
And they, there was a pretty big gap, so I had to get a PRP shot. Missed the whole year. I was on crutches. It was I mean, and like you said, like the motivation for me, I mean, was sitting at home in my dorm room. I always tell the story whenever people ask me about this being hurt. Just I remember one time I was sitting in my dorm room. I had my TV on in front of me. We were playing Rutgers, and I was just laying there, and it was just like 5 or 6 weeks after my injury, I think, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just remember thinking, I was like, man, this is brutal. Like,
sucks.
I was like, this is. I was literally thinking to myself, I was like, this is gonna motivate me so much for next year. Like, I'm so excited to show like everybody what I can do. Like, just kind of like ultimate motivation for someone that was like ready to like make an impact and kind of had a setback. So it was, I mean, I just had a lot of momentum and like motivation going into this year. And I mean, it worked out, but it was definitely hard for last year. I always say that's probably the hardest thing that's ever happened to me in my life up to this point.
How big was summer ball for you?
Oh, that was huge. So
okay, hold on. Let me real quick. So summer ball in baseball is like a necessity. So like for everybody who plays, you go, you play the season, and then as soon as the season's over, like Keaton might go and play back home in Georgia, or you can stay around here. You can play in the Prospect League, you can play in the Northwoods League, and you'll play like a bunch more games just to get more at bats. Throw more innings, whatever. You know, the Cape Cod League is a big one some people might have heard of. So summer ball is huge for those who don't understand. Like that's like a big key in baseball. And so I guess that's the question. Then how big was summer ball for you coming off of that injury?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. It was important for me to get back out there and get back in the flow of things. It had been 5 months since I had an at bat. So I mean, just kind of getting back in a good spot, kind of going through all the fundamentals again, just doing everything the right way. But, I mean, it's just huge to get back into a competitive environment too because,
Right.
I mean, even when I was hurt at the end, toward when I was getting recovered and healed, I was still able to hit, like, off a machine and stuff. But, I mean, that's no, like, getting into a game and facing a live arm, getting in front of an environment. We played the Savannah Bananas. I don't know if you guys seen them, but there's
on TikTok.
Yeah, there's 1 million people that go to those games.
Wait. So that's a summer ball team? I've always been so confused on what that team actually is. Or even if it is a real team, but I had no idea.
They were like our rival. We were the Macon Bacon. They were the Savannah Bananas.
They're awesome names.
So we would always have 1 million people come to not 1 million, but a lot of people go to those games. And I mean, it would get rowdy. There was they loved their team. I mean, our fans loved us. So those games were always super competitive, but just getting back into that kind of environment, having pressure on yourself, that you're not forcing just people yelling at you. There's people in the stands that are drinking.
Were you ever the beer guy?
Yeah, I was the beer guy. 1 game.
Did you K?
No. I think I swung at the first pitch every at bat.
Oh boy. So in summer ball, there's a lot of cool like intricacies to summer ball, but if you're chosen before the game on road games, they choose one player on the other team to be like the beer guy, which is like if you strike out in any of your at bats, it's free beer for the rest of the inning.
That's unbelievable.
So like everybody,
what a concept.
they go crazy. They go crazy every time you hit. Like if you're the beer guy, like they go nuts.
That's an unbelievable concept.
Yeah, no,
whoever invented that is a genius.
Dude, and it's everywhere. It's just like a thing. So like I've been the beer guy, and I think I'm pretty sure I K'd. Like I probably K'd. Like I K'd a lot, so I probably struck out. But like I was the beer guy, and like they just scream at you, and because they want that free beer.
That's
so
awesome.
you were the beer guy, whatever.
It's just there's just ruthless stuff that they say. I mean, you're by the moment that you're walking up to the plate, getting ready to swing, they're already chanting and cheering at you, yelling at you not to strike out, telling you suck. And then
there's no rules in summer ball.
There's no rules. It's just ruthless. They're just they'll do anything for it. It's a good time.
No, something that you touched on that I kind of want to go back to is the competitiveness, like the just like needing to be in a competitive environment, because I redshirted my first year too, and like that was brutal. Mm-hmm. Like I just needed like the competition just to like because we're athletes, we're fueled by competition, right? So it's like I want to compete. I don't even care if I get my ass kicked. Like I want to compete. Like it's just like I want to play. Like, and like when you said that, I was just like, yeah, dude. Because like whenever anybody would ever ask me like what was the hardest part, I was like not being like able to be competitive, because it's in practice we got like glimpses, or not glimpses, just like little bits and pieces. But it's kind of like it's just much more controlled, and it's not like because like we're mid-season, so it's like we're really not practicing very hard, whatever. So it's like that. Just I miss that so much.
Yes.
Just being an athlete, just being competitive.
Right. It was. I mean, that's one thing for me. It was like even when the games when we were getting our ass kicked, it was just like getting in the box, still just competing against the pitcher. I mean, we're still trying to both do good.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just kind of that competitive nature. I mean, I was lucky enough to get through like 3/4 of summer. I did end up breaking my hand.
Jeez.
I had the same surgery that Patty had.
Really?
On my hamate bone, yeah, in August. So I missed this whole fall too.
Yeah,
So
I remember that. Yeah.
It was kind of brutal. It's been an up and down flows of injuries, but I'm in a good spot right now, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, you're in a great spot. So you come into the season, and like you said, you were out during the fall, but you had played well in the summer. And I would describe you as somebody who just, like, hits. Like, you just figure out a way, you just hit.
Yep.
It's like Z.
Like, there's guys like that who can just, like, they just know how to handle a bat.
Like Z.
And, yeah, like, it's like guys who just, like, know how to score, and like it's not even like any one thing they do. They just figure out a way, like floaters, lefty, righty. I'm gonna pivot again, shot fake, jump into you, get to the foul line.
That's how I like to think
make
of myself.
threes. Like you just like figure out a way to like score the ball. It's kind of like guys who can just hit. Like you just figure you got a professional swing. Like you can drive the ball the other way. So going into this season, you had a great year, but you started really well too. Mm-hmm. So I guess I want to touch on like what your mindset was coming into the season. Like what was your biggest key, something you wanted to focus on, something you wanted to, I guess, yeah, just your main key coming into the year. What did you really want to hit on?
For me, I just wanted to come in and make an impact. I wanted to come in. I wanted to pick guys up. Obviously I wanted to help us win. And I just kind of wanted to be around guys that were going to kind of look up to me as someone that they want to kind of roll or model behind, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. And I never went into this year with super high expectations. Like I was just super blessed to kind of get back out there and play for my first time in IO uniform. So after miss last year, I didn't really want to take anything for granted. I didn't want to just put so much pressure on myself. Obviously, there was pressure. I wanted to, do good. It wasn't like I was just out there to have fun. But, my main thing this year was just kind of just be someone that people can look up to, and just not take everything, like not take it for granted. Like knowing how last year the season literally just snapped on a day.
Right.
Just a random Sunday, I think it was. We were just scrimmaging, and then I literally had the whole season just taken out of my hands from one injury. So, just kind of playing every game, like just happy to be out there. Was just something that was key for me. And then when I was hitting, it was never I was going up there trying to hit a home run, never trying to do way too much. There was times that happened, but when I would just tone down and just kind of take a deep breath and just focus on just hitting the ball hard, I feel like it was just like it just kind of came and everything worked out. But I just wasn't a guy. I just don't like to try to.
You don't do too much.
Yeah, I don't try to be some spectacular hero.
Yeah.
All the time.
You just stay within yourself.
Yep.
And that's why you're a real good hitter. But I want to know like what's your mindset like when you every at bat, like when you're stepping into the box, like what are a couple of things that you're telling yourself? I know it's going to depend on the pitcher. There's going to be scouting report things. There's going to be situational pieces. Do I got to move a runner? What do we need here? Just get it in play. Do we need an extra base hit? Am I leading off? Are we sucking? Do I
hit a dong?
Do I need to take a pitch? Right? Like,
right?
What is this guy struggling to find it? What all of these things? What is your, if there's any one thing like your mindset when you step into the box?
All those things are something that we have to think about when we're hitting. But for me, I would just go up there every at bat, just focus on hitting the baseball hard. I was just like, that was just my main, just my main thing, just catching a barrel. No matter what happened, I was always a guy. I've always been a guy that's been content with, if I was 0 for 4 with 4 hard lineouts at somebody, like I would consider that a good day. Like numbers wise, it wasn't, but overall, like feeling and the way that I thought that I hit the ball, like I would feel was good. And for me, hitting after Peyton Williams like all year, they normally threw me and him the same way. So whatever he would get, pitch-wise and pitch type-wise and location, they normally did the same thing to me.
Interesting.
So even though he's a lefty and I'm a righty, if they threw him in, they would normally throw me away. Mm-hmm. And if they threw him away, they would normally come in on me. pitcher would kind of live on that side. So, and we would both see kind of the same off-speed pitches. So, I mean, just focusing on what he was seeing before me too, as I'm just going up there with just the plan to just hit the baseball hard, catch a barrel. I mean, I feel like it just both added up for me.
Yeah. I want to talk about you and Peyton too, but I also want to ask you one more thing, like about that I read. You were never a home run hitter.
Dude, I was going to ask this.
You were going to ask that?
I was going to ask this.
So you saw that too?
Yes, licks and count.
Go ahead.
Shout out Chad. Shout out Chad. But yeah, no, like I was literally going to ask that. But like you hit, I don't know, I think he said like 2 home runs your whole high school career.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is
then
that true?
It was 3.
Like a small number.
Yeah, it was not. And then like this year you hit like 13, 14, 15, something like that.
14.
Yeah. So like was there like something mechanically that you changed, or like how did like you just like got stronger, or how'd that go down?
So I think when I came in here, I mean, I had a little bit of like quote unquote baby fat, kind of turned that into muscle a little bit. I've never been a guy that was like just an animal. I've never been like super strong. I mean, in high school, I mean, this is going to sound good, but on squat days, I would just set up the bench bar and I just rep bench out. I was kind of one of those guys. Squat was never my thing, so my legs are an important part of baseball, but I never really was like, oh yeah, this is going to be something that I need. Right. I was just kind of a big upper body, wanted to walk around like I was some huge big guy. But I mean, yeah.
Wanted on the record, Keaton skipped leg day.
Yep, I did. But walking around, ever since then, it was just like when I came up here, it was just the main priority was to hit the legs. And I mean, I feel like that's helped a lot, like staying on my legs, hitting wise. But I mean, in high school, it was just like I was just a guy that would hit the gaps, I'd hit doubles. I would have the juice to hit bombs. Like I'd hit bombs in BP, but it was like it would just never translate to games. I feel like my swing is just about the same as it was then. I feel like I was more downward swinging on the ball than kind of getting loft a little bit now. Mm. But I mean, I think the biggest part has just been strength. Like I was never hitting balls as hard. Obviously, I mean, that's important, like, and something that happens when you get to college, you get stronger. But I would say that's probably the biggest part, obviously. And then a little bit of a swing change to get a little bit steeper and under the ball. Yeah. I feel like those two things combined, it's just like change me as a hitter.
Shout out Walrod, man.
Yep. Good guy.
Walrod. I want to go back to what you said about Peyton. You both, you guys were kind of like the 1-2 punch this year, in the lineup. We had other solid hitters, good hitters. Isaiah would have been in that mix, but he was hurt for a while. But I guess it was kind of like every game. I mean, not to discredit the rest of the lineup at all, because we had a lot of good hitters, but like we were relying on you two for a lot of our power, a lot of RBIs. You had to hit homers, extra base hits, and drive in runs. So I guess having him, like, did you ever like think about that? Like the two of you, did you ever talk about that? I mean, you're both very good hitters, and you're going to be high picks in this upcoming draft, which we're going to talk about. But I guess what was like that 1-2 punch? Like, what was that like for you guys?
I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, we would talk about it. We'd mention it to each other. There was days that some people would struggle, and I mean, we would have to pick them up. But we would never really. We were not guys that would kind of give other guys crap or say you need to help us. But we were kind of like. We were there to pick them up if they were struggling. You took that on. Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay, like, I know, like, this is what I need to be.
We had kind of added that to our to what we wanted to do. We knew that there was going to be games that some guys were going to struggle. We knew that some games me and him were going to struggle. Mm-hmm. And we feel like those games are the games that we needed to pick each other up and be there for each other. I mean, obviously, like, there was games that we both struggled, and like other guys had picked us up. But yeah, there was throughout the year, it was just like me and him. We have like this ongoing joke of like we would always like compete for home runs. Yeah. So we would kind of compete for that and doubles, and he'd always hit one. He'd look at me, he'd be like, "I'm up 2 now" when I'm going up to plate and stuff like that. We just kind of had like a little ongoing joke about it, but there was never anything like serious deep down, and it was just like all fun and games. Yeah. But I mean, he's a great hitter. He was super fun to play with. I learned so much from him. I mean, I'm still hitting with him right now in the off season. We're both here, still training, and I feel like every day we just learn something new from each other. Mm-hmm. He's just a great baseball mind. He's to be a great player. So it's a long career ahead of him.
Yeah. Well, that's the next question. The draft's coming up here soon. Gonna be a big day for the both of you.
When is that, by the way?
July 17th.
July 17th.
What he said. So I want to talk about, and I want you to tell everybody what the draft process has been like for you. You went to Chicago. I saw you post on your stat. Like Peyton went to a pre-draft thing out in Cali. Like what is this prospect like? Or sorry, what is this timeline like for prospects like yourself and Peyton who going into it? You're training, you're working out, you're not really playing right now. You're just getting ready, you're lifting. What's this all been like?
Obviously I'm just blessed to be in this situation. But I want to say overwhelming at the same time as like something that it's like a good overwhelming. Right. So for me, I'm a sophomore, redshirt freshman. You're normally draft eligible your junior year. You have to be 21. I just turned 21 like 5 days ago. Yeah. So I'm a draft eligible sophomore, which isn't really common.
I was the same, and it's rare.
Yeah.
Like, most people didn't know that I was draft eligible.
Yeah, that's what
you
it was
said
for
the
me.
Same for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me in the fall, there was nobody that was coming out to watch me. But then as the season went on, I kept just doing my thing. I kept putting up numbers. And then by the end of the year, I was at like 14 bombs, 22 doubles, hit like 360. And then my phone was just started to go nuts. It was like every day to every other day, it was like a different team would text me. They were like, hey, can we meet on Zoom? Can you meet in person in Iowa City? Like, can you do a phone call? I remember there was one time I was sitting at Panera in Coralville with a Mets guy, and I was in there for 30 minutes. I did some tests for him on a computer, just like some vision test. Came out my phone. I had like a Brewer scout called me, Tiger scout texted me, like a Cub scout texted me. But I mean, it's like it's one of those things that's like you love. It's like you like the attention, but at the same time you're like, oh my gosh, like I need to answer all these people. I need to do all this stuff, but. No, I mean I went and worked out for the Cubs.
What's that like? How was it?
There was 8 pitchers there, 6 hitters. Few through half were probably high school kids. Mm-hmm. And I mean it's just something that like you don't get to experience really like ever, and some people don't ever get to experience it. And it's like just being in front of like the scouting directors, the cross checkers, like the guys that are high up there in the scouting world, and just being able to display like all your tools in front of them.
You told me you raked.
Yeah.
You told me you hit really well.
I think I hit the furthest ball I've ever hit in my life to right center. And it was like just in the concourse, just mashed. But it was a good day to hit up there.
At Wrigley?
No, it was at their minor league field.
Okay.
Boom.
I know. It was their single A field. It's in South Bend, right where Notre Dame is.
Yeah.
It was right around there.
Well, I've played there, yeah. Oh, that's a nice field.
Yeah, it was a nice park.
It's nice, yeah.
So, like, when you go to Panera with the Mets guy, like, is he picking up the check or, like, what's the...
No, so I met one at Panera. I met one at a hotel. Met the Red Sox and the A's at the new hotel right across from the football field. That's where they all stay now. Mm-hmm. And then when I went to Panera, he asked me if I wanted anything, and I kind of, like, gave him a weird look. And I was like, there's no way he can pay. Like, so I just kind of... He was like, you want anything? And I was like... I was thinking, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm all right now.
You got to ask for like a smoothie or something, like something small. To
I just don't know what the rules are about that. I don't think that there's no way that they're just
ask for something small. So then, like worst case, like you pick up the check, but it's like $5 or whatever the smoothie
who's
is.
Who's snitching anyway? Like who's
as opposed but like you can't like go fed because he's like, oh, like yeah, just like here, give me your card. Like thinking you ordered 5 things, like we can't have that. But like pick up the smoothie.
When I'm curious in this. When you went and worked out for the Cubs, were you taking live ABs with those high school pitchers, or did they just throw on the side and you took BP?
So we got there, we ran, and then the pitchers, they all got ready to throw, and they threw on the mound out on the field.
Yeah.
We went inside, we did hitting assessments. They set up like a bunch of technology stuff on us, on our bodies when we were swinging. Mm-hmm. Got hand speed, like all those numbers. And then when they finished up, we went outside and we just took on-field BP from one of the scouts through.
Nice.
Funny story. I think it was my 3rd swing, my first round. I was in the last group. and I had just shagged, and I'd come in. I didn't have a wood bat with me because all mine are in Georgia at home. Right. So, and I was like, I'm sure like they'll have some. They had some for me, but I was borrowing this other kid's in a nice Marucci AP5, $200.
Oh
no. Third swing in, so the guy throwing BP. He was just, he's missing down and out, down and out, down and in. They're bouncing like on the plate, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I just took 5 in a row, and I'm like, this is getting to a point where like you feel like you got to swing.
You have to swing eventually.
You're like, oh my god, I have to swing. They're all sitting here watching me. They're like, I'm not sitting here to watch them take. So I swing at the same pitch that would just bounce like on the plate. Catch it off the end, splinter the bat, barrel goes flying to the L screen. I'm sitting there and I'm just like looking around and I'm like, oh boy.
You're like, jeez.
Yeah, I'm like, and then the kid comes in after I had just finished all my rounds, and I just look at him and I'm just like, man, like I'm sorry, like I feel like I had to swing, like trying to go through all these things, like dude, I don't know, what do you want me to do? You want me to Venmo you? He's like, look, man, like it's all right, it happens, like we've all been there, like I'll just go get a new one. And I was just like,
wow.
I was kind of in shock. I was like, I just broke your $180 bat, and you're just gonna tell me that I'm good? And
normally, you break it, you buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the rule.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
I was like, great, I'm gonna have to Venmo this guy $180.
Right.
Gonna have to pay him, but he ended up being a pretty nice guy. Didn't make me pay.
What a guy.
Ended up getting a free bat after because I got a new bat that I swung with, and they were like, you can just keep that. So. It was a fun experience though. If I had to do another one again, I would 100% would want to do one just for the opportunity and meeting all the new guys and everything. So,
well, the draft upcoming is about to be big time.
Yes,
and I'm excited, and I'm excited for you. After we come back, we're gonna talk about Keaton's hooping ability. So stick with us.
Diamond Ridge Construction is a family and locally owned and operated company. Diamond Ridge does roofing, siding, and gutters. Diamond Ridge was awarded the best construction and roofing company in Iowa City. They have never received a review lower than 5 stars. They do quality and efficient work for a customer-friendly price. They do work in the Johnson County area, but are open to expanding. If you're interested in seeing some of their work, visit www.diamondridgeiowa.com.
Some of those pictures are really cool. They do houses of all sizes and have done some massive complexes. They are open weekdays from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. For a free estimate, call 319-800-7663. Again, that's 319-800-7663. Are you looking for a unique educational experience or a distinctive marketing piece? How about your very own barrel of whiskey? Iowa-based Foundry Distilling Company is the industry leader in producing custom whiskey at their site, myprivatebarrel.com. Foundry has worked with individuals, businesses, groups of friends, social clubs, bars and restaurants, and charitable organizations to produce custom labeled spirits for marketing purposes, fundraising, celebrating milestones, or just for fun. Check out myprivatebarrel.com to get started. Enjoy a memorable experience, receive a great whiskey education, and create a custom labeled spirit that celebrates you, your business, or whatever you feel like toasting to. Get started at myprivatebarrel.com. That's myprivatebarrel.com. Cheers and go Hawks.
And we're back with Keaton Anthony.
Just called himself a bucket.
Who just called himself a bucket. That is, and I'm telling you, I've seen him shoot. He thinks of himself as a hooper. He was always trying to get out and get shots up, and he always wanted to run open gym. Keith, what's that about? Like you think of yourself in that light. Like I need to hear about it.
I'm gonna go back to my glory days. So back in the day, 7th grade, 6th grade,
obviously.
Gwinnett County 3-point champ.
Yep.
We had a little all-star thing. I was
yes,
3-point champ.
Attaboy.
I was banging out. I think my parents got it on disc. I'm going to have to ask for it so I can relive those days. But, it was one of those things where you're just running to the racks and you're just grabbing the ball and you're confident. You know you're going to hit.
Yeah.
People are all cheering. They're like, oh, this guy's on fire. Oh. And that was my kind of game. I'm a guy that's I'll sit outside in the perimeter, go in and bang some bodies for boards, take charges. I'm a big charge guy.
Did you play in high school?
Yeah, I played. So I was on JV up to my sophomore year, and then baseball. It kind of went in baseball like a month, and it was my junior year, and that was kind of my big year. So I was like, I'm done. But if I had to go back and do it, I feel like I would have played because
you can shoot.
That was
you're not like. I'm not going to say you're the quickest guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the quickest
but
guy.
you can shoot it.
Yeah,
you could shoot it.
It was always.
Who's a better shooter, you or Isaiah?
Me, 100%.
Isaiah swears he's like
Isaiah's convinced he'd be the best shooter on our team.
Yeah, Isaiah thinks he's a better shooter than Patrick and I.
I mean, there's no chance.
I
was just, I don't know. I mean, my stroke was just, if I'm in the gym for a week, my stroke's just right there, and it's just bottom every time. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, crazy story. You guys probably know him. My godmother, her husband, Brian Cardinal.
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah,
Purdue guy. Yeah. Went to a few Mavs games when they played down in Atlanta. Have his jersey. He sent me his jersey. So good guy though.
No,
good guy.
Definitely.
Big guy. Oh, kind of got the same game as him. You know, sit in the corner, hit some threes, take some charges. The janitor, they called him. That's my kind of game.
Do all the dirty work.
Yes.
Do the dirty work.
I'm a guy that just loves it. I like doing the things that nobody else likes to do.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to go down there and bang the boards bang people for boards. You know, like that's some people that's just not their game. Right. I love going down there. I love initiating contact. I love getting dirty, and let's clean that up. I love getting down there and getting a little rough with the guys. Boxing them out. I just love I love doing the stuff like that. I mean, I know that probably sounded bad, but
the kid loves boxing out.
When you guys ran pickup games with the squad, like what team is your team winning, or is it actually? Hopefully, coach doesn't hear this because we're not supposed to play that much hoops. But who's winning those games? Your team, Isaiah's team. Siegs can hoop a little bit. Michael Steegers.
Yep. He's got balance for how small he is.
Dude, I've seen him.
Quick.
Dunks.
Yeah, he's quick.
5'11" and 5'10". That's probably generous. He's not even 5'11".
Yeah,
no way.
He's probably like 5'10".
And he can get up there and dunk.
Get up there, yeah. He's an athletic kid. Team that won most. I know we went up to the field house one day, at the end of the year, this year or last year, maybe in the fall, and I know my team had won like 4 games in a row. I think it was like me, Patty was on my team. It was kind of OP. I think we had like Link.
Link was good. Link was a good high school player.
Yeah,
Link's
got a good shot.
Yeah.
Link torched us in the state tournament. That's why we lost.
It's a pretty looking shot.
Link
torched us during the state tournament.
Yeah,
Peyton hooped back in the day.
Yeah, Peyton's got it.
He played. He moves well and he's athletic for how big he is.
He's a big post guy.
Yeah.
He likes to get down there too and battle for boards and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I was normally on the winning team. I'll take over the game if I need to.
Yeah. Well,
I'm never nervous to hit the shot.
That's what we wanted to hear. Yeah. That's what we wanted to hear.
I mean, I'm a hooper, so
he's a hooper.
Hooper at heart.
He's a hooper at heart, bro.
Guy loves to take charges and box out.
Yep.
And make threes.
Yep. Janitor.
But anyways, Keat, thank you for joining us, brother. Yep. This was awesome. Good luck in the draft. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited to see where you end up. Appreciate you coming on. We'll try to get a post-draft episode before you take off. We'll try to get you back on.
Yes,
sounds
for a
good.
quick reaction. But
sounds
thanks
good.
for joining us.
Yep, thank you guys so much.
Kate.
Yo, Kano with the rebound, they got 8 seconds to go. Move the ball right up the court, yeah, you know they ready to roll. Hit the outlet pass to Patrick, put a move on them so tragic. Yeah, you don't want no static, McCaffrey boys, they be like magic. This shit back to Connor, yeah, you know these boys is hooping. Hit him with the alley, yeah, you know he straight up hooped it. Now Patrick's hanging on the rim, yeah, he's got his feet up. Excessive celebration, McCaffrey boys, they done got teed up. Oh man, they got teed up.